This is payal, and today we will discuss about topic human skeleton. And this topic comes under multidisciplinary course of zoology, third semester, unit first. In this topic, in this lecture, we will discuss only a brief about a human skeleton. And first of all, I will tell about you what's the human skeleton. Out of 13 system of human skeleton is a rigid framework of our body. If I stand here, I can move my hand and I can move my legs. It's only behind the reason is the human skeleton. Human skeleton is made by joint, ligament, cartilage and muscles. But here I am discussing only about the bone. This human skeleton is discovered by, first time gave the full description about the human skeleton is the Andreas Vesalius. Here is the Andreas Vesalius, and this Andreas Vesalius is also the father of human anatomy, and this Andreas Vesalius is also known as father of osteology. Here I am using a term osteology. Osteology means the study of bone, the bone of development, differentiation of bone. All these comes under the osteology. And this human skeleton is composed of organic material, inorganic material, living tissue and water. In case of infant, total bone in human skeleton is 270. Slowly and gradually, when infant grow, this some of the bone become fused and only 206 bone in case of adult. Total bone in human skeleton is 206. And these are the some function of the human skeleton. For example, it support the body, facilitate movement, store and release mineral like calcium and phosphorus, and produce RBC, red blood cell, is also known as hematopoiesis. And main function is to protect internal organ like brain is protected by the skull, lungs is protected by the thoracic case, and reproductive part is protected by the pelvic girdle. Now, next is I want to discuss here is this human skeleton is classified into two categories on the basis of position and function. First one is the axial skeleton, second one is the appendicular skeleton. This axial skeleton having total 80 bones out of 206, and this appendicular skeleton having 126 bone out of 206 bone. Now, first I will discuss here is the axial skeleton. Now, what is axial skeleton? Axial skeleton is dead skeleton which are present along the axis of body, Here, this is along the axis of our body. And appendicular skeleton is that part of the skeleton which is joined by the axial skeleton. For example, this two limb is joined by the axial skeleton. This pelvic girdle is joined by the axial skeleton. This hind limb is joined by the axial skeleton. These two limb and these two girdle comes under appendicular skeleton. But this along the axis of body comes under the axial skeleton. In this axial skeleton, total 80 bones are there. For example, first is the skull. In skull, total 8 bones are there. And in face, total 14 bones are there. Total 22 bones. Apart from this 22, total 6 bones present in ear ossicle, 3 in each ear. One is the hyoid bone. Here is a catch. This hyoid bone is a very special type of bone present in the human body. It is not articulate with any other bone. It is a totally freely hyoid bone. Here is total bone is 22 plus 6, 28 and 29. Now, second is the vertebrate column. This is also present in the axial skeleton, and total bone is here 26. How 26? Here is the vertebrae column. Vertebrae present. Total 26 vertebrae. 7 in cervical, 12 in thoracic, 5 lumbar, 1 sacral, and 1 is the coccyx. Coccyx is also known as the tailbone. Now, next is the thoracic pelvic girdle, second one is the pectoral girdle. Pectoral girdle is also known as shoulder girdle, and limbs having two types, hind limbs and forelimbs. Now let's count the bone of appendicular skeleton. First is the pectoral girdle. This is the clavicle 1 and 2 and the scapular bone. Total 4 bone in the pectoral girdle. Next is the upper hind limb. In upper hind limb, one is humerus, second is radius and ulna, then carpal, metacarpal and phalanges. If we all together in one hand 30 bones, but we have two hands, so total bone is 60. That's why I wrote here upper limb bone 60 bones. Next is the pelvic girdle. Pelvic girdle is protect our reproductive part, having only 2 bones, right? Next is the lower limb bone. There is only one difference in lower limb and upper limb. Although both having the same type of bone, same number of bones, 60 bone in upper limb and 60 bone in lower limb. But where is the difference? Here is the difference. Here is another bone is the patella, right? But tarsal becomes 7. There carpal is 8, but here tarsal is 7. That's why total 60 bone in 2 legs. This is a comparative analysis between the two skeleton, exoskeleton and appendicular skeleton. Here's the exoskeleton help in the protection of the body, but appendicular skeleton help in the movement of the body. And exoskeleton is very heavier because it support our body, but appendicular skeleton help in the movement. That's why the biomass is very light. And this exoskeleton is evolutionary conservative, but it is highly modified. Basic plans same, but if organism having function different, that's why the appendicular skeleton become modified. And this exoskeleton having high stability, this stability is very variable. And now I conclude my a very brief account of a human skeleton with a simple cure. The bone may be hidden, but they hold us together. Thank you.